Hey guys, what's up? It's Raven. Fun fact, bats are not blind. Bats actually have pretty good eyesight, especially in low light conditions. They can actually see really good in the dark. So the saying, blind as a bat, is actually pure nonsense. But on another note, I'm back. See, I told y'all I was going to be consistent. I'm keeping my word. At least I hope, because I am pre-recording this, but I'm hoping that this, episode 2 is going up on time. At this point, we should have gone up with episode 1 on January 1st. It should be whatever the next Wednesday is after that. And this episode should be up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we get everything launching on time perfectly. This is just a 2-woman show. It's just me and Sam working on this podcast. I don't have like a big, huge team of people. We're keeping it real chill, real low key. I record them here in my office. Sam is the one who edits them. If y'all don't know who Sam is by now, she's my production assistant, executive production assistant, technically. So she's the one who edits these and puts it all together and does all the extra things and makes sure that they go up on time. So hopefully with her and I working together, we've been able to stay consistent, at least for 2 weeks in a row. I have faith in us that we could at least do that. But yes, I plan to stay consistent and post every Wednesday. So here we are. I also am going to continue to recommend that if you haven't already, go check out all the previous episodes, not just episode 1 from last week, but from the 3 years leading up to this, because I did technically start this podcast in 2021. And there's some good episodes with some good information and backstories and context that you guys should definitely listen to if you haven't already. But hopefully we're all here. We're all caught up. We're on time in the club. We all fam. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. If you're watching the YouTube version, I got my pink shirt on. And yeah, we're here. We're ready to chat. I actually wanted to kind of make this episode a little bit of a follow-up or a continuation to the first episode that I posted last week. If you guys listened to that one, I was talking a lot about YouTube and my issues and my qualms with YouTube and the problems that I've been having and how I would really like to be able to quit YouTube if I could, because it's just been some kind of bad vibes over there. And one of the things that I said is that I feel like my main audience really wants me to do vlogs, whether that's mom vlogs, weekly vlogs, just long form content where I'm taking you along my day-to-day life and giving you a glimpse into my personal real life. That type of lifestyle vlogging, long form YouTube content. That's what I feel like is the main thing that people want from me. But I said that I don't really want to do that and I've lost interest in it. And I said that it's boring. However, I wanted to come back and just be a little bit more detailed with what I really feel about that, because I actually have a whole rant. When it comes to vlogging that I didn't really get to fully delve into in the last episode, but I really need to let it out. So hopefully this is a safe space. Hopefully y'all are cool with just letting me rant for a bit, because boy, do I have a rant. And I have so much of a rant, in fact, that I took notes this time. So if you're watching the video version and you see me looking at my phone, I took notes. So I said vlogs are boring, but I did not mean that vlogs as a whole, as a type of content across the board, are boring. I've seen some really interesting, really entertaining vlogs. I know there's some really successful, really entertaining vloggers out there, whether it be mom vlogs, family vlogs, single girls, all types of people living all types of lives. There's some really good content out there in that category. And they're definitely not all boring. What I meant was it was boring for me as a creator currently in my current position. I feel like it's boring for me to film them. And I feel like it becomes boring for y'all in a lot of ways to watch them. And the reason for that is because vlogs and vlogging and being a vlogger as your main niche, it does not work unless you have continuous life updates to share. You have to be sharing a story. You have to have a storyline. You have to have a journey. And within that story and within that journey, there needs to be frequent updates. It needs to be an actual story that people can follow along and see what happens next. There needs to be something happening next. Otherwise, you are not going to make it very far as a vlogger. Point blank, period. This is proven. Look on YouTube right now. You are not going to see people being successful doing vlogs, that type of lifestyle, follow me around, just see what I'm doing every day type of content. You're not going to see people become successful with that if they do not have some type of major life updates happening regularly. You're just not going to see it. You're not going to see it. And when I say successful, to me, a successful vlogger on YouTube, I consider that to be someone who is posting consistently, like about once a week, someone who is putting time and effort into their craft, high quality content, decent editing, all that type of stuff, and someone who is being able to get an average of, I'd say, 150 to 200K views per vlog, at least, if not more. That's what I consider to be a successful vlogger to me. And that's a very subjective thing. That's just my opinion. Success is measured different ways by different people, of course. But I'm talking about people like Aaliyah's Face. Love her content. I think she's doing an amazing job. She's someone who is known as a YouTube vlogger. She creates those weekly vlog type of videos. She's pretty consistent with it. The videos are high quality. She's got an engaged audience. She's getting, that 200K and up view range. She's doing really well. But she is someone who fits that mold of having life updates to share. For her specifically, I see a lot of updates revolving around moving into a new apartment, moving to a new city, or just sort of leveling up her life in general. That sort of vibe. Those are the type of life updates that she normally shares. A lot of travel, also just a lot of travel in general. Where's the next place that I'm visiting? What's the next new thing that I'm doing when it comes to that type of stuff? And it's working really well for her. And again, I love her content. I think she's doing a great job as a vlogger. I wrote down some other examples. KB and Carla, they just had a baby. And so there's obviously a lot of updating that you can do when it comes to that quote unquote storyline. Somebody like Queen and Clarence. There's been a whole multi-year long, like decade long storyline there as far as like, I was in this relationship and I had these kids and then we broke up and then I got into this relationship and then I had these kids and then we moved here and then we did that and then this is happening with my music career. It's very much like boom, 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 big changes, big life updates, very much a story to tell. And the list goes on and on in terms of vloggers like that, whether it's a fitness journey or even something like a surgery journey. I'm getting XYZ surgery and taking you along for it. Whether it's I'm moving to a new city, I'm moving into a new house, new apartment, I'm getting married, I just got engaged. I'm taking you through the whole process from dating to engagement to married to then having children. Having another baby is always like a big, something that we see a lot, obviously, in vlogs. And even something that's not necessarily a positive thing, but maybe some type of like diagnosis. I got diagnosed with XYZ and I'm taking you along my healing journey or my treatment journey, like something like that. It has to be a journey. Long story short is what I'm getting at. And the thing is, most creators will never reach the level of success that I'm talking about, that 1 million subscribers, 200K views on every video, that type of thing, being able to work with major brands. Most creators will not see that type of success, period, no matter what they do, obviously, because, everybody's not going to make it for whatever reason. But you are 10 times less likely to get anywhere close to that level of success if your vlogs do not have those things that I just mentioned. That is the key to success as a vlogger. You have to have those big life updates. If your life is very routine, redundant, you're not having any major changes, you're not on any type of journey, you're not having any major life updates, you just are kind of living your day-to-day life and it is what it is. And you're kind of just going shopping and doing your chores and going to work and going to the gym. Like if you just have a routine that you stick to and nothing new is ever happening and there's no journey, there's no, I'm trying to get to this next thing. and that's all your vlogs contain, is just seeing you do that, there's only a certain level of success that you're going to see with that. I promise you. I've seen it where people might shoot up like on short form content. And also short form is different than long form. YouTube is a harder beast to tame. YouTube is harder. It's harder to be successful on YouTube. Point blank period. Especially these days. Point blank period. It's harder to be successful on YouTube, in my opinion, and especially in this niche of being like a lifestyle creator. You are much more likely to gain traction through short form content on TikTok or Instagram. I think that's a fact. So I have seen vloggers or, lifestyle creators see success where they might kind of shoot up super quick and get a lot of followers and be getting a lot of views out of nowhere through just their normal everyday life content on TikTok. You don't really see that happen on YouTube. When was the last time that someone just became a famous YouTuber overnight? Like, who's like a new famous YouTube vlogger or successful YouTube vlogger? Who even would be considered someone who just like hit the scene and just took off in the last 2 years? I can't think of anyone. And maybe I'm just out the loop. Feel free to let me know in the comments if y'all do know of people. But I'm not talking about smaller creators. I'm talking about like Aaliyah's face level of success. I can't think of anyone who's been able to like shoot up to success on YouTube recently. It's just really, really hard. However, I can think of a lot of people who have had that experience on TikTok. We see people every day. It's like they go from a quote unquote nobody to a somebody overnight, because it's just a lot easier to get discovered on TikTok. So I said all that to say, I've seen maybe on TikTok where somebody might shoot up to success, but then you also have already seen where those same people, just as fast as they got there, they dropped off. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, there's no story. There's no journey to follow. You're waking up every morning, you're making your coffee, you're making breakfast for your kids, you go to work, you clean up, It's like morning routine, daily routine with the kids, night routine. Same thing. Unless you are taking us along a pregnancy journey, unless you have a new baby on the way, unless you are taking us on the journey of your engagement and planning your wedding, unless you are moving into a new house, furnishing the house. If you're not doing something like that, people might care for a little bit, but they will quickly lose interest because it's pretty simple. It's redundant. If you're just doing the same everyday mundane things, as much as people claim, because I know there's going to be people in the comments right now. They're probably typing right now. No, I love the everyday mundane content. You don't have to have anything crazy because it's relatable. I love to see people just living their everyday routine. Like, I'm not looking for any major life updates. I'm not looking for any crazy storyline. I like the everyday content. I prefer that. And I'm not saying you're lying. I think there are people out there who genuinely like that. They prefer it. They're going to watch it. They're going to support it. But most people, the numbers don't lie. The analytics don't lie. I don't just study my own viewers and my own analytics. I study my peers in the industry as well. And the numbers don't lie. When we're just doing the everyday, repetitive, mundane stuff, majority of people don't care, or they're going to get tired of it real quick. Majority of viewers, the mass majority of viewers out there, whether you're on TikTok, YouTube, wherever, they need more of a storyline to follow. For those of y'all who don't know, my mom is my manager. She's my momager, my business manager. So she works with me behind the scenes and has been for a handful of years now. And she also mentors other aspiring creators. So she talks to a lot of creators who are looking for help with how to sort of kickstart their YouTube channel, how to, be more successful with their social media content and stuff like that. And this is something that my mom deals with all the time with her clients. She has told me that she gets a lot of clients who come to her and say, I want to be a vlogger. I want to be a lifestyle content creator. I want to do vlogs, like mom vlogs, weekly vlogs, blah, 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 blah. And they're getting stuck. They're not getting the views. They're not getting the engagement. They're not getting anywhere with it. And they're coming to my mom and signing up for her courses and her classes and her mentorship, asking for her help. And my mom has told me where she's had to straight up tell people like, your content is boring. Like nobody cares. It sounds so harsh, but like nobody cares. If you're just living your everyday routine life, nobody's going to care. You have to have more of a storyline than that. You have to be taking them on more of a journey than that. You know what I mean? Think of it like reality TV. The reason why reality TV works is because of the storylines. And we now know that those storylines are mostly fabricated because they have to fabricate them to make them interesting enough for people to actually stay engaged and actually watch the show. But there has to be some sort of drama, some sort of struggle, some sort of trying to get here and trying to, you know what I mean? Otherwise, why would you sit there and watch something that's just sort of like a steady, peaceful pace? And again, as much as people try to act like they like that stuff, oh, I love peace, I love positivity, I love stability. No, you don't. Not when it comes to entertainment. For most people, not when it comes to entertainment. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, because honestly, like when I'm saying what people like or don't like, or what people engage or don't engage in, I am also people. You know what I mean? I'm a creator, but I'm also a viewer. So I get it. Yeah, certain things get old and get boring if there's not enough grit to it. You know what I mean? Having said all that, my life story was once the perfect life story for vlogging, because I was having major life updates, because I was going from this point in life to that point in life and going on this journey of this and that. I've taken you guys on my college journey when I was vlogging during college. I've taken you on my acne, skincare, Accutane journey, trying to clear up my severe acne and get over that struggle. I've taken you on the journey of my pregnancy journey, and then becoming a first-time mom. But then not only becoming a first-time mom, but becoming a single mom and everything that went into that. And then moving from an apartment to a townhome to building this house, which was like even better that I built this house, because that was even more of a journey of seeing it go from a patch of land and seeing all the progress of it being built, and then moving in and then furnishing the house and doing the add-ons and the renovations, you know, putting the pool in the backyard and all that whole thing. For years and years and years, for most of the time that I've been, you know, on YouTube vlogging, there was always that sense of a journey, that sense of a storyline, major life update, something new to be unfolding before my viewers' eyes, something that I'm aiming for, reaching for, you know, something to tune in and see how is it going to turn out, what's going to happen next. And that was just my life. I wasn't doing any of that on purpose for the sake of content. I know that a lot of creators do. Trust and believe, a lot of creators fabricate life updates for the sake of just needing something to talk about in their content. And I don't blame them to a certain extent. As long as they're not hurting anybody, I don't blame them. That's your job. Your job is to be a vlogger. Your job is to be a storyteller. Sometimes there's not naturally a story to tell. Sometimes you have to create a story to tell. And if that's your full-time job as basically an entertainer, sometimes you have to do that. And I just would hope that you're not doing anything unhealthy or, you know, not hurting anyone along the way. Although some creators, clearly we've seen where they do get caught up and there's, you know, consequences to it. But for me, I never had to fabricate anything for the longest time. Like life was just happening. Life was happening so fast, and the next update and the next goal and the next big thing, it was just happening. A lot of things that happened for me between the years of 2015 to 2019. Everything was just like happening to me. It wasn't even like goals that I had necessarily set for myself, honestly. And it just worked out really well that it created a story to tell for my content. And you can see how I was able to be a successful blogger. I was able to be a successful lifestyle content creator because I had things going on that people wanted to tune into. But I would say everything kind of hit a lull and hit a plateau after a while after I got settled in this house. So like the last big update was like building the house, moving into the house, furnishing the house, doing the main like renovations on the house. Okay, now the pool is done. Now we've kind of got most of the rooms mostly furnished, whatever. And then it's like, okay, now we're kind of just chilling in the house. Yes, I'm still doing things around the house here and there, but I'm not doing like these huge, building, nothing compared to putting a pool in the backyard type of stuff. And I'm kind of just here chilling. I'm like, this is my house. This is my life. My next biggest update was probably when I bought my investment property. And for whatever reason, at the time, it really felt like nobody cared that much at the time when I got my investment property and I fixed up that house and became, a landlord. Like that whole journey, I thought that was going to be a bigger thing than it was as far as like engagement and viewership and like, you know what I mean? Because that's like a big life update. But at the time, it was just kind of like, okay, that's cool. Like it didn't really garner a lot of views. I did a whole series about it. The series didn't really get a lot of views. There didn't seem to be much of an interest in it. At the time, I sort of just took it as, okay, maybe this is just not very relatable. Like not very many people who are watching me who are my age who maybe could relate to becoming a mom or, being a single mom or some of these other things, other journeys that I've taken people on. Maybe those journeys were more relatable and therefore more interesting, but maybe this journey of investing in real estate is not as relatable, not as interesting. Maybe people just think it's kind of boring business talk and people just didn't seem to be interested in it. However, it seems like in hindsight, like right now, or like for the last couple of years since then, it feels like people are very curious about it. Like I get questions about it all the time. Are you going to do an update on your rental property? How's the rental property? Are you going to get another rental property? Like now people seem interested in it, but people didn't really seem very interested in it in the moment. So anyways, saying that to say that probably would have been my last like major update, because after that, like I said, I'm not buying another house for myself. I'm not moving. I'm not having a kid. There's no like relationship. Like I said, anything relating to a man to really speak of or show. And I can't really think like what else would be a big life update or journey or story, journey that I'm taking you on or story that I'm telling through my vlogs. And it's very apparent that when my life slowed down in a sense in that way, the content and the engagement and everything slowed down with it. Because here's the thing. This is why I said vlogging is boring. I was excited to film, edit, and post my life and share my life to the world when I felt like I really had something to share. You know what I mean? When you feel like you have big, exciting news, when you feel like you have a lot going on and a lot to share and a lot to say and a lot to show, then of course you're going to be more excited to share it. You know what I mean? But when you feel like you don't really have anything going on, you don't really have any updates to share, you don't really have anything interesting or exciting going on, it's just the same stuff from last week, from last month, from last year, I'm like, okay, I don't really care to keep sharing the same stuff over and over again. That's why it gets boring. I'm not having fun with it. I'm not interested in sharing my own life, let alone expecting the world to be interested in really watching it. Again, even though I still get a lot of comments and messages of people saying like, it doesn't matter. We love the everyday stuff. It's not boring to us. Like people claim that, but the numbers don't lie once again. And so I hit that plateau. My content hit the plateau at the same time. You can see, because that was around 2021 going into 2022. It's like, okay, we're not doing any, that's like when I finished the pool and I got the investment property. And then after that, after the investment property was done, it was like nothing. And that coincides with the timeline that I was explaining in the last episode, where everything started to kind of take a turn for the worst on YouTube and my engagement started going down, and I tried to do different types of content, but that didn't work. Views are going down. I'm not getting no brand deals, blase, so on and so forth. Everything just sort of like hit a plateau. And I really feel like it's because overall, the formula is to continue to have major life updates, meaning that people were expecting the next big thing from me. They've seen me go from college to being pregnant to being a mom to this to that to being a homeowner to becoming a landlord and then it's like, okay, and then what? Okay, hello, and then what? We've seen you jump, grow, all these journeys that you've taken us on. Okay, so what's the next journey? Okay, so now what? Now what are you going to do? And I feel like the biggest thing that people were expecting is the storyline of now you're going to get into a relationship, you're going to start dating someone, and it's going to get serious, and you're going to get married or something along those lines. He's going to move in, you're going to get pregnant, you're going to have your second child, like that whole thing. Clearly, that is what a lot of people care about. That is what a lot of people were expecting. That is what a lot of people still to this day ask me about the most. If you have been on my TikTok live streams, because I've been going live on TikTok more recently, and I feel like that is a place where you can see clearly what's on everyone's mind. You know what I mean? Because the comments are coming in, people are asking questions, and it's like 3 main questions. And my people who be on my live streams, y'all got to back me up on this one, because y'all know if you've been on any of my live streams. First question, where's Zaya? Because for some reason they feel like Zaya needs to be sitting next to me at all times. Second question, do you want more kids / when are you going to have more kids / does Zaya ask for a sibling / are you going to give Zaya a sibling? Everything related to having more kids. And then, are you dating anyone? Dating update? Are you dating? All that whole thing. And then, if not that, then it's questions about the house. Are you moving? Is this your forever home? Do you plan on staying in this house for forever? Do you want to move? If you could live anywhere else, where would you move? If you could do it all over again, what other new features would you want in your new house? Like a lot of questions revolving around getting a new house or moving, or if not, doing some sort of major renovations on this house. And just a lot of things that lend themselves to that main formula that I keep referring to, where it's like, you're supposed to keep going down the journey. You're supposed to keep the storyline going. Like, okay, you got this house, but now you need to get a man and you need to have another kid and it's time for a new house. You know what I mean? Or it's time to completely redo and renovate this house. And this house, like I've only been in this house for 5 years, which depending on how you look at it, like on one hand, I'm like, dang, it's already been 5 years. Like it kind of feels like a long time. But on the other hand, like 5 years is not a long time as to be in one house, in one same house. Like I think it's pretty fine and normal to stay in the same house that you own for 5 years and longer, right? Like we shouldn't be expected to get a new house or upgrade our house, even as someone who's an influencer, whatever, has money, whatever. Even as that type of person, why is the expectation that you're supposed to constantly move and constantly get a new house and constantly be updating or renovating or anything like that? But I get a lot of comments and messages like that, specifically when it comes to the whole relationship thing. The thing with that is that that's usually the catalyst. Getting into a relationship is usually the catalyst for everything else, because as the story would go, usually you would get in this relationship, it would get serious, you would get engaged or get married or something. And then that leads to maybe he moves in with you, or maybe you move in with him, or maybe y'all get a new house together. So it pushes that story forward as far as the living situation or the location. It would shake that storyline up and make that more interesting. Not only, I mean, it starts with the relationship itself and the way that that would be interesting, entertaining content to see me in my dating era and maybe hear about that. And maybe he's in my content and maybe y'all get to know, new character unlocked, new content unlocked. That would just really open up a lot of doors for different types of content just with the relationship itself. And then, like I said, the way that it might affect my living situation or my location or my house or getting a new house, and maybe send me down a whole nother journey of like new house, building a new house, furnishing a new house, and all the content that that would unlock. And then, not to mention, if I were to get pregnant and have another child with said man, all the content that that would unlock. And I know that more than anyone, because I've gone down that journey and I've shared a pregnancy journey with you guys before, obviously with Zaya, and it really and truly did unlock so much content. Like, I know it's kind of like taboo to talk about, but it's the truth. Like, being pregnant, having a child, if you are a lifestyle content creator, if you are a vlogger, one of the best things you can do, and nobody wants to admit this, nobody wants to say the quiet part out loud. One of the best things you can do is have a baby. If you want your content to pop, if you want content ideas, if you want brand deal opportunities, if you want 40 million different things you can make a video about, have a baby. Now, that's not why I had Zaya. And that can be proven through the fact that that was an unplanned pregnancy. So there was no strategy. There was no previous thought put into, ooh, let me have this baby so I can, make content about it. Because I was not trying to have a baby, period. But it just ended up working out. I was already a content creator. And, I really appreciate, as a side note, I've seen a couple of people publicly make TikToks about this and everything, where people are kind of giving me my props or showing their appreciation for the fact that I don't use Zaya for content and that I'm not that, quote, that type of mommy vlogger. And recognize the fact that I've been a content creator long before I had Zaya, and I will continue to be a content creator even if she's not in my videos. I've noticed that people have been giving me my props in that sense, which I really appreciate because yes. I don't know how else to explain it, but very much I would hate for anyone to think that my content creation career is because of or hinges on or revolves around or has to use or exploit or focus on my daughter. And that's where everything comes from, because that's not where everything came from. And there's proof of that. Sorry, y'all, my camera actually just overheated. So I had to stop and start again. Low key kind of lost my train of thought. But I believe what I was saying is I just really appreciate the way that I've seen a lot of people recognize that my content isn't relying on exploiting my child, because I really am not trying to exploit my child. And I really do try to be more than that as a creator and offer more than that and structure most of my content differently for that reason. So back to the point. If I would have gone down that path of, getting married, having another kid, moving into another house, all that type of stuff, number one, it probably would have been a lot more exciting for me personally. I would have been excited to continue on vlogging. I would have been excited to continue down that niche and down that path. And I think that excitement shows through your content and helps you, propel you even more forward when you're happy and excited about what you're doing. That shows through and helps you become even more successful. And it would have just been, that perfect storyline to continue to push me to see more and more success on YouTube. I've seen it happen. I think there's no doubt about that. I think it's very clear that the reason why I hit sort of a plateau or a stopping point is because of the lack of that. I don't think you can blame it on anything else. I don't think you can say that my content is not high quality or I wasn't posting consistently. Now, I'm not talking about these last few weeks. I'm talking about the last couple few years. Over the last couple of years, yes, I was still posting consistently. I was putting out quality content. I was putting out even better quality content than I ever had before. Matter of fact, if you want to get technical with it, the quality was always increasing. The effort and the time put in was increasing. So I don't think you can blame it on that. You can't blame it on not knowing what I'm doing or not having a strategy or not, you know what I mean? Like every other box was checked except for your life as a lifestyle content creator is not what lifestyle viewers were wanting or expecting to see. Instead of taking you along the journey of finding love and having another child and moving into another house, I took y'all on the journey of, hey, actually, I'm going to start playing around with power tools maybe. Hey, actually, I think I want to start learning how to like do more when it comes to DIY. And I've always done these little crafts or whatever, but I want to learn how to do bigger projects. And I'm starting to really get into hosting, and I really love throwing these themed parties. And I'm going to continue to do more and more and bigger and better birthday parties and Christmas parties and, you know, decorating my house and doing these DIYs. Like I started taking you along that journey, which is not at all the same thing that I think people were wanting or expecting. And I felt like everybody was kind of like, hello, like, boo, tomato, tomato. Like this is not what we wanted. And I think that says a lot about society. If we're being real, I think there's something deeper there, you know, not to get fake deep, but seriously, I think there's something there. So you mean to tell me if I bring a man into the picture and I bring another child into the picture, it's whoop-de-doo, woo-woo-woo, oh my God, so much excitement, so much engagement. But if I start pursuing my personal passions as simply just a single woman doing her thing on her own, wanting to learn how to use power tools and have a fun little cutesy hobby, we don't care. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Now, on short form, and this is what I talked about in the previous episode, whole different world on YouTube versus TikTok/Instagram. Long form versus short form content. I have seen a lot of success and a lot of support and a lot of interest in my stupid little DIY hobbies and my stupid little power tools. And me just doing my thing as a single woman, not even putting Zaya in the content whatsoever. It has nothing to do with Zaya, nothing to do with motherhood, nothing to do with any type of storyline like that. Literally, if you look at my Instagram and TikTok, it's literally just me and sometimes Sam making stuff, messing around, being creative, making stuff. And yet, and still, the people over there on Instagram and TikTok, they seem to really love it. Why? Because I basically built a whole new audience. I grew really fast on TikTok and then started growing really fast on Instagram, where I've basically created and grown a whole new fresh audience of new people who discovered me from the DIY content that I was posting. That's my DIY crew over there. That's my creative crew over there. They found me for my creativity from those type of videos. They liked that. They were interested. They decided to follow along. That's mostly all they know me for. And they're happy with it because that's what they came for. That's how they know me. That was their first impression of me versus my YouTube squad who knows me from my whole life journey, or at least the motherhood journey, or at least, you know, parts of it where they know me for the whole life story, the whole journey, the whole storyline. And those are the people who they've been following along. So those are the people who have the expectations of what the next chapter is going to be. YouTube people have expectations. Short form people are new. So they don't have any expectations. They don't know that there's even a storyline going on, and they don't care. They just care about the next DIY, the next party that I'm going to throw, the next, you know, cutesy little thing that I'm going to make out of cardboard. That's all they know. That's all they care about. But on YouTube, they know my life story. They're waiting for the next chapter. They have all these expectations. And so when my content is not meeting those expectations and it's not telling the story of whatever the next chapter they would like to see is, that's where we have that problem where it's like crickets. on YouTube versus on short form. They're like, hell yeah, do your DIY thing. And that's why I've been preferring the short form platforms recently, because it's kind of nice to just do my thing as an individual and not feel the pressure of when are you going to get married? When are you going to have another kid? When are you going to move into a new house? Or even still, it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, well, damn, if you're not going to at least do those things, are you at least going to get another cat? That's another question that I get all the time. When are you going to get another cat? At least, like, if you're not going to have another kid, like, at least get another cat, like something, please do something. And don't get me wrong, there's always those viewers who have been along the ride the whole time. They know my life story. Some people have been following me since I was in high school or college. Before I had Zaya, I got those OG subscribers, those OG supporters who, even though they've seen the whole storyline, they still really don't have any expectations. They still just support me for me. They still love my DIY content. They still are, showing up and engaging and commenting. I see y'all. Don't worry. I see y'all. I appreciate y'all. I know y'all are out there. I know that not every OG YouTube subscriber is the type of person who doesn't care about me as a person and only wants to see my next relationship or my next pregnancy. I know that y'all are not all like that, but it does seem to be a majority when it comes to the YouTube people. And that's why it's just a different vibe on Instagram and TikTok. And that's why I said what I said in my previous episode about the difference between the two platforms. It just feels like my YouTube channel right now, it really feels like I'm never going to be able to see that same level of success that I would want. Like, I could do okay. I could get some views. I could do good. I could do decently good on YouTube, just doing whatever the heck I want. Cause like I said, there's always going to be those people who support me no matter what. So it's not like I'm going to get 0 views. It's not like I'm not going to be able to get anybody to watch my content. Like, I'll be able to like chill on YouTube, just doing whatever. But in order to see the previous success that I had, or in order to quote unquote compete with somebody like Aaliyah's Face and the like, and be at that level and get those amount of views and that amount of engagement, in my heart of hearts, I know that the only type of content that is going to get me there is the big life update content. And it does suck. I will be the first to admit that it makes me upset. It makes me sad. It hurts my feelings. It really hurts my feelings that I feel like I am at a wall. Like, I've reached a wall. I've reached a blockade. I'm hating from outside the club. You know what I mean? And I hate it because I hate the idea of a man or a relationship being the key that unlocks the door. I loathe, I rebuke, I rebuke the idea that there are any doors in front of me that are locked and a man is the only key to the door. A man. If you know anything about me, you know that that makes my blood boil. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't do this, or I won't get there, or people won't care, or this won't happen unless I get a man? Or, you know what I mean? Because that's what it feels like. Because like I said, that's sort of the catalyst that leads into everything else. I mean, I know there are ways that you can have a baby without a man. Technically, I'm not going to do that. Like that, I guess I could, if I really wanted to, I could be like, okay, well, let me get a new house. Let me build a new house and move, even though I have no actual real desire to move or get a new house. I could, if I really wanted to, I could say, well, let me see if, just moving to a new house or something, or moving to a new city would be enough of a shakeup. But I'm not that type of person. I've never been that type of person to purposely do stuff like that just for the sake of content. I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, it's just so much freaking work. Because what if it doesn't work? Like, now you done did all this. You done bought a whole house. And then what if I still don't get views on my vlog? like, I would be sick. I've never been able to bring myself to do that type of stuff before. I'm not going to do that. But honestly, it feels like nothing like that would even matter unless it would have to be the storyline that includes the man. It would have to be the settle down and get married and start your family and do all the things. Like, that's what it feels like it would have to be. Because imagine if that happened and I started vlogging that story. Just, you mean to tell me you go sit up here and tell me and look me in my face and look me in my eye, and you gonna sit up here and tell me that you don't think that would absolutely pop off? You don't think the views would be out the wazoo? You don't think I would finally reach 2 million subscribers on YouTube? You gonna sit up here and lie to my face? Let's be real. And it feels like, in the meantime, my personal goals and my personal little life updates and the things that I do have going on right now just aren't enough. Like, they just don't compare to something like that, because I have had accomplishments. I've had little updates. What about me going down this DIY journey and going down that road and then reaching a point where I'm able to start working with Home Depot, and I got my first Home Depot campaign partnership. You guys, my camera just overheated again. Clearly, for some reason, the universe does not want me to record this episode, but I'm going to persevere. We persevere. We are moving on. I have lost my train of thought again. I feel like this is just so all over the place, but hey, it wouldn't be me if there wasn't a little bit of #shambles going on. I think I was saying that I have had a few major updates in the sense of just like in my little personal world, not in the grand scheme of things like everybody else, but in my little world, working with Home Depot was a major achievement. Doing the holiday commercial with them was a major achievement of 2024. And just getting to the point where I was able to expand my team. I hired on Zoe, and then I had Michaela as my intern, and then I hired on Sam. And although Zoe doesn't work for me anymore, and neither does Michaela and stuff like that, just the process of being able to do that, being in a position where I was able to employ those people and just sort of like things like that are like, that's kind of a storyline, right? That's kind of a journey. That's kind of a life update, but it's not the normal life updates that normally get the views and engagement. It's not the expected life updates that I feel like people were hoping for. It's not the relatable stuff either. I think that's a big part of it too when it comes to lifestyle content and vlogging specifically. And I keep saying that because there are other types of content that you can do where none of this stuff matters and none of this stuff applies. You know what I mean? But specifically for the niche that I was in, I think being relatable is a huge part of it. I've seen recently people doing these think pieces and these posts and these whatever about, XYZ YouTuber, I don't like her content anymore because she's not relatable. Her vlogs just don't hit the same because she's no longer relatable. Talking about, girls who I consider to be in my class of YouTube who have done the work, put in the time, seen success, leveled up in life. And yeah, maybe they're not as relatable anymore because they've reached a certain level of success and now they live a certain, maybe a little bit more of a luxurious lifestyle or something like that. And that isn't, admittedly, that's not very relatable to the average person who maybe doesn't live that type of lifestyle and isn't able to travel and do these things that they might be showing in their vlogs. But you get people who really just sort of like turn their nose up to it and say like, the vlogs don't hit the same because she's no longer relatable. I've seen them say that. People have said that about me, and I've seen people say that about many, many, many other creators. As soon as you hit a certain level of success or start making a certain amount of money or start being able to do certain things that you didn't used to be able to do, which are all great things that we should celebrate and be happy for them. But a lot of time viewers are like, it's not relatable anymore. Can't relate. So now I don't like it. So that's part of it too. So me, landing a partnership and doing a commercial with Home Depot, that's not relatable. to the average person. Me growing and expanding my business and being able to hire 2 full-time assistants that come to my house and work for me every day, that's not really relatable. So it's like, I think that's part of the reason why those type of life updates didn't do the trick, you know? And that kind of sucks because that's my life though. This is my life. I am living in this house with no plans to move or build a new house. I have Zaya with no plans of having another child. I always say never. I'm not saying I'm completely against ever having another child, but like, I'm 31 years old. I'm single. I don't have a deep burning desire to have a child right now at all. So there's a good chance that I will never have another child. So there's the reality of that. I'm doing what I do, doing content creation like I've pretty much been doing for the past 15 years. I have my routine for the most part. Like, this is my life. This is me. This is my life. There are probably not going to be any huge, crazy, and definitely probably not like also relatable somehow at the same time changes, because when you the Venn diagram, the 2 circles that overlap each other, stuff that is like big and exciting but also relatable, you cross those things over. What's big and exciting but also relatable as far as life updates that you can share? Getting married, having a baby, moving. Like, what else is there? What else is big and exciting and entertaining to watch but also relatable? That is why it is the formula. Like, I'm telling you, I wouldn't lie to y'all. And so, yeah, I was just saying, like, sometimes it honestly gets to a point where, you know, I've had moments, especially over the past couple of years, I've been struggling with my mental health. I've been struggling with depression. I am grateful for everything that I have. Do not get me wrong. I am grateful. I am thankful. I see, I am aware of my blessings. You know, I try to celebrate the wins. I try to focus on the positives, but my life is by no means perfect. I still have my struggles. I still have my shortcomings. I still have things that, you know, I haven't reached, or I don't have, or I feel like I have, you know, there's still more things for me in life that I've yet to reach. And not reaching those things can be depressing sometimes. And just life in general can be depressing sometimes. There's things that go on in my life, especially recently, because I have not been vlogging and I have not been doing the podcast, and I just really haven't been sharing a lot of personal stuff. Y'all, now more than ever, y'all don't know everything. Y'all don't know some of the struggles and some of the things that have happened in my life recently that just make me some days just feel not very excited about life. You know, some days I am really depressed and really unhappy. And I've had a lot of days. I've honestly had a lot of days over the past couple of years specifically, and especially over the last year, like 2024. I had a lot of really hard days where I struggled because I was like, I'm not excited about life. I remember a time, I know what it feels like because I've experienced it, and I remember what it felt like to be excited about life, to be on this upward climb, to be on some sort of journey, to have these big life updates, to be working towards something. Like, I know what that feels like. I've experienced it and I've shared it with you guys. And I've had a lot of great experiences in my life, and a lot of like just, even if they weren't always easy and positive, it was exciting. It was growth. It was something new. It was a new challenge. It was something to aim for, something to wish for, something to go to sleep at night, you know, looking forward to the next day because I'm going to take that next step forward, or I'm going to work on whatever it is. I know what that feels like. And it's in stark contrast to a lot of days that I've had recently. A lot of days that I've had recently feel the complete opposite. It just feels blah. It feels repetitive. It feels mundane. It feels boring. It feels old. It feels stale. It feels like there's a lack of excitement, a lack of a journey, a lack of an update, a lack of a new challenge, a new whatever. Things started to feel very been there, done that. Like even some of the exciting things that I did do this year, it wasn't my first time doing it, if that makes sense. Like landing a major brand partnership with a brand that I've really wanted to work with. Of course, that's still a great thing, but that's not the first time that I've done. Like I've kind of already done that. I know it sounds like it maybe makes me sound ungrateful or whatever, but it's the truth. Like I've had a long standing career. I've worked with a lot of brands. I've worked with pretty much every brand that I could want to work with. I've had that feeling multiple times. I've already had that feeling multiple times. Again, I'm still grateful for it, but it's not the same feeling as before when it was new and it was fresh and it was, oh my God, I'm just now getting to this place in my career. Now it's kind of like, okay, well, yeah. It's sort of just like the routine. It's sort of just like the expected. It doesn't have the same spark, the same fresh new spark to it like it did before. And I feel that way in a lot of different aspects of life. A lot of different aspects of my life recently are lacking that spark, that newness, that sense of excitement because I'm in uncharted territory, or you know what I mean? And so I've really struggled in that way. And I do feel like that comes through my content, being someone who normally shares my life, being someone who's being requested to vlog my life. I don't really want to vlog my life. Why would I want to vlog my life if I'm not even excited by my own life? I feel like I have nothing to vlog about because it's like I'm not going to do these same vlogs about these same things. Like I'm sick. I'm sick of living this day. I'm sick of the routine. I don't want to film the routine and share it with the world. You know what I mean? I'm sick of doing that too. That's part of it. That's part of what I'm sick of. And so I've had to really do some soul searching because I'm a solution oriented person. At the end of the day, I can sit on here and rant and complain and talk about the negatives and talk about what I don't like and what I'm struggling with and wah, 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 wah. Trust me, I hear myself. Trust me, I hear myself. And so I can do that and I can allow myself to get all that out. But at the end of the day, I'm a solution oriented person. Okay, yeah, but what are you going to do about it? That's my personality. You can rant and complain, but what are you going to do about it? Because sitting up here and complaining obviously doesn't do anything. And so I've tried multiple times. I've sat here and I've asked myself, what's next for me? How can I add a sense of newness or freshness to my life just for my own personal well-being, just for my own mental health, not for the sake of trying to fabricate something for content, but first and foremost, just for my own sake. If I feel like I need something fresh and new in life, if I feel like, I'm craving that, I need a new journey, I need just a something. I can't even put my finger on it, but I just feel like I need something. Okay, then what is it? And how can I do that? And I've asked myself that question several times, especially over the last year. I've tried to ask myself that question and I've been really stumped and I've really struggled to answer that question. And it makes it even worse when it feels like my content and my career also depends on it. You know what I mean? It just puts a lot of pressure on me. It puts a lot of pressure on just the way that I live my life in general. Everyone, I'm asking myself what's next. Friends and family are asking me what's next. And the whole internet feels like it's asking me what's next. Clock is ticking. You're 31 years old. You've kind of been sitting, kind of doing the same thing for the past, 3 years. Hello? Like, when are you going to do something else? When are you going to do something new and exciting? Like, it feels like pressure. And maybe it's mostly just the pressure that I put on myself and I'm just projecting. That could be it. But I can't, you can't deny the literal comments and messages that I'm also getting from people on the internet about it. And that does really suck sometimes because it's something that like I am actually struggling with in real life too. It'd be one thing if I was like, oh, forget the comments, forget the messages. Like they don't know what they're talking about. I don't care. Like, screw them. But like, I do care. Unfortunately, they do kind of know what they're talking about because I also kind of feel the same way and it was already bothering me anyway. And so you're actually just pointing out something that like, yeah, it is true and it was bothering me and I can't even fault you for, you know what I mean? That's what makes it hard. Because it's easy to brush off the haters when you feel like they don't know what they're talking about. and you don't care what they're talking about. But number one, this isn't something that's coming from the haters. It's actually coming from my supporters who watch my content and want to see more. And the things that they're saying feel very true. So that's been a struggle for me. Again, the biggest struggle is the way that it feels like I don't know how to get to that next step. I don't know how to unlock that door without it hinging on getting into a serious relationship and going down that road. That's been honestly a big thing for me. Because I just hate that, and I'm not there. It's not happening, and I can't snap my fingers and make it happen. And I'm not even sure if we erase everything and erase all the noise, if I just ask myself, is that what I want? Is that what I'm hoping for? Is that what I feel like I need? Do I feel like I need to find my person and settle down in a relationship? Is that what I even want? Is that, you know what I mean? Like, is that even true? It's hard to shut out the noise and even ask myself that. I feel like I'm confused my damn self when it comes to that question. Because some days I feel like I don't care. Like I've never prioritized that. I've never been the girl who dreamed of getting married and doing all these things. I've never been traditional in that sense. I've never based my self-worth or my value or anything on a relationship or a man. I've never been one to really care much about that in the grand scheme of things. That's just not me. It's never been me. I've always been the person who's like, I don't care if I get married. I don't have dreams of getting married. I probably won't ever have a wedding. Like, I don't care to have more kids. I don't like, you know what I mean? That's usually my answer. But I'm not going to lie. It's come down to a point now where I've realized that I've achieved a lot earlier on than a lot of my peers. Like I've achieved a lot and done a lot at a younger age, to where I've marked off a lot of goals. I've marked off a lot of achievements, just sort of marked things off the list when it comes to just adulting and going through life and becoming a mother and becoming a homeowner and certain career achievements and things like that. And now I'm 31 years old, which is not old, but it's sort of that like in between age where it's like you're not super young figuring out life anymore, but you're also not old. This is sort of the age when everyone's life really blossoms and really blooms. Honestly, for the average person, I feel like they really start blooming in their 30s. Like this is when you reach new heights in your career. This is when you really, most people are married and having kids and maybe having their second kid and maybe, buying a home and like doing those big things. The average person is sort of doing those things in their 30s. I kind of already did a lot of those things in my 20s. And now I'm here in my 30s sort of feeling like the only thing that I haven't done, though, what's the one thing when it comes to those big bucket lists, milestones, that's the word I've been trying to think of this whole episode. I keep saying life updates, but milestones is really what I'm referring to. What is the one major milestone that I haven't really ever achieved? I'm sure all the viewers at home can name it. Yeah, it feels like it revolves around a man or a relationship. And that bothers me because I feel stuck. I feel lost and I feel stuck. And I hate the idea of putting so much weight on that and having anything hinge on that. But here I am. And whether it has to do with, again, how I just feel personally about myself and my own life, or whether it has to do with my content and my career, it all just feels like it goes together. It all just feels like it comes down to that one same thing. And yeah, that's, I wish I had a better ending to it, but that's where I currently am at today. That is my current real-time struggle. I'm still in real time struggling with that. I'm still in real time struggling with, how am I going to go on as a lifestyle creator? Am I going to be able to go on at all? That's really the question. Am I going to be able to go on at all as a successful enough in my book lifestyle content creator or vlogger of sorts? And is that on the table for me? Is that an option for me? If so, what is that going to look like? And way more importantly, what is my life going to look like anyway? You know what I mean? That's the question. So we shall see. Stay tuned. That's all I can say. Stay tuned. I'm staying tuned. I feel like I'm staying tuned to my own, I'm trying to see how it's about to unfold. I have been craving for something to unfold, I guess, but I just don't know what it is. I don't really know what it's hard. It's confusing. This is a hard phase for me to be in. That's all I got. I'm trying to hurry up and end this before I have any more overheating technical difficulties. But yeah, I will talk to you guys next week on Wednesday. We're staying consistent. We're posting every Wednesday. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Follow the Instagram account, Raven Elyse Podcast, if you haven't already. I definitely will be, if I haven't already by the time I posted this, I will be coordinating something on the Instagram account where you guys can call in. And I really want it to be something where we can literally play your voice messages on the podcast and hear your voice asking your questions, as part of it. And that will all be coordinated via the Instagram page, because that's where I'm going to post all the updates and all the instructions and stuff. So definitely make sure you follow Raven Elyse Podcast on IG, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow all my main pages as well. And I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.